Welcome to your selection. So how do your coworkers view you, and who are they working with? Okay, so let's get into what that means. How do your coworkers view you? You have a passionate voice. Okay, your coworkers view you as having a passionate voice. A lot of them, they see you as a very big inspiration. Okay, and I know that you're not, some of you guys, you might not be wanting to work with these people. You wish that these were not your coworkers or something like that, or you have, like, you are kind of apathetic towards a lot of people who might find you to be an inspiration. Some of them, you might be an inspiration, but some of you guys are feeling apathetic at work, okay? So how are your coworkers viewing you? Part 1. Let's get more information. We have mystery. Okay, some of you guys, you work with people, but you keep an element of mystery is what I'm hearing. Some of you guys, you might be doing collaborations, but you have like a faceless account or something like that. Like, you could be a tarot reader that only shows their hands and stuff like that, or you can have some other like position where there is some things that you don't speak about, okay, or that you don't show, and maybe you have a clear boundary around that as well, and they're like, that's how they're viewing it as well. It's just like, okay, we know you have that clear boundary, right? So let's see, how do your coworkers view you? Some of you guys, you only communicate with them through email or phone call, okay? If you guys are at work and you work like in an office space or something like that, or you work somewhere cold, they could be seeing you with your blanket, or they could be seeing you wrapped up and stuff. These coworkers, I feel like these are people who really want to know your secrets. Maybe like you guys have strong workplace boundaries, I feel like, and these are people, they know that you're fun to be around. They know that, and I think that this is what makes them defensive at work, is that because maybe when you're at work, you show this really, really professional side, and then they might see you as like this. They know that you're sexy and fun outside of work, and that they don't get to experience this part of you, which means that you put up a really, really strong boundary, and that you didn't. I think some of these people get mad when you don't like take a chance on them. Like, I don't know, something where they think that like hollering at you while you're at work is appropriate or something like that, or you just put up a strong boundary that you were not interested in anybody there, and they just feel offended that you didn't give them a chance or something like that. Something where someone felt offended that you didn't give them a chance. We have the Queen. How are your coworkers viewing you? Okay. These people who are viewing you, they definitely see you as an authority, and they feel like I don't know, these could be people that are challenging your authority, okay? And they see that when these people challenge your authority, you just discarded them. I'm hearing something where you discarded them because they challenged something that was legitimate, okay? They may have been trying to see you as like arrogant or controlling and demanding, but some of y'all, you are used to, maybe you are in a new work environment, or you're coming from maybe you guys are coming from a fast-paced work environment, and some people don't have that call of duty the way that you do. These people, I'm getting that for some of you guys, you're coming from a like highly intelligent workplace, and you might be moving into something where people just don't move as quick as you do. Like, you might be used to, and this is me speaking from experience as well, and so some of you guys might, you might not even have realized that you were in this kind of fast-paced work environment until you leave it and you enter a new one and it's nothing like it, or something like that, or you don't realize how toxic that can be as well. But I feel like for some of you guys, this, let me know how it resonates. But for example, I when my boss asks me to do something, that means do it now. Like, and I think that, like, when people, and I don't think that that should be something that your boss has to explain. Your boss, I think that, like, especially some of you guys, you are these people's boss. It's like you have been dealing with a lot of people where you have to tell them over and over again to do something, or they're just, it's like they are trying to challenge your authority when it's not applicable. I'm hearing this, a lot of this is not, it is not a valid, like, rebellion. This is people who rebel out of peer pressure, or they rebel out of fashion or anger. This, they might see you as like, you, I'm hearing something where you just discarded them. You told them that you didn't want to work with them anymore. You started making demands, and instead it started taking control of something. And I'm hearing that, if I'm hearing some people who did not meet your demands, they got discarded. Okay, is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing if they didn't, it's like you stopped being, like, I'm hearing as soon as they didn't meet your demands, you turned away from the situation. Is what I'm hearing. And so they saw that was like arrogant that you did that, and I'm hearing that, like, it was because you had some other option or something like that, or you didn't waste any time. Some of you guys are coming from fast-paced work environments, and so people who do not, they don't respond timely, that's not what you're used to. So this is not, like, I don't think that you are a bad person or a bad leader. I just think that you are a maven, and the people that you're working with are just, they're not skilled enough, or it takes them a little bit longer to do something, is what I'm hearing. So, it's kind of annoying, I think, but I think you might see it as disrespectful. Like, if you have to get to the point where you're perceiving it as demanding or controlling, or I might turn arrogant towards you, like you're an idiot for trying to, like, reject something legitimate. I think that what they're failing to hold responsibility for is that they rebel against something legitimate, and you cannot work with people like that. They feel like you got really arrogant and decided decided that they were not worth investing in, decided that they were not your cup of tea, okay, or decided that they were not worth sharing your secrets and mysteries, okay. It's like something where you're just collaborating with them for the meantime until you fulfill your, like, you serve your own personal agenda, okay. We have the water element, the moon, the fourth amendment, and then we have commercials. Yeah, so your coworkers could be looking at your commercials, okay. They're looking at you on social media, or you are literally commercialized, okay. And so this could, they could be, I don't know, they could be really emotional. I'm getting that these coworkers are really emotional with you, and I think that this is not something that you're used to either. I don't know where the emotions came from. Okay, just do what you're asked to do, because a lot of you guys, you are on the commercial, you're in the commercial business unit, is what I'm hearing, or you're in you have executive positions, leadership positions. You are decision makers in your workplace, and when you ask your subordinate to pull a report for you, to complete a task for you, it is more than likely because they needed to they needed to make a business decision, and this is a matter of urgency. And I think that people who, and I also, you know, like, this is not coming from a like high and mighty place. I've also had to learn this myself. There's been times where my boss has asked me for something, and an hour later came back and was like, oh, did you finish that thing? And I'm like, oh, I didn't know you needed it right now. Like, this could literally be obliviousness, where these people, they're so emotional about the things that they're oblivious around, that they have formed an emotional attachment to you at work. It's like you have to really coddle them into, you know, accomplishing a task and holding their responsibility. Like, no, you know, in that moment, I can't, in hindsight, I'm like, okay, I was really emotional, because that was really me projecting my lack and my poor communication, me projecting that I didn't understand that this was for a business decision, that, you know, it incited a lot of feelings of inadequacy, like, oh my God, I'm not on time, or I misstepped, right? But now I'm like, okay, giving myself the grace of being a new first generation corporate job, and saying, hey, like, look, let me just, okay, next time when my boss asks me to do something, I'm going to do it urgently, right? You know what I'm saying? Not keep making, these people didn't know that they were disrespectful. I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think that, like, you working with them helps them resolve a lot of varied emotions about their inadequacies, their position in the workplace, okay? Especially since you make decisions for the commercials, is what I'm hearing. Decision makers for the commercial side of the business. And they might be people who are not involved in the commercial side of the business. They might be people who support the decision makers. These might be people who work in the retail stores. These might be people, when they come around you, they don't get, you know, they don't get what's really going on behind the commercial. All they get is you commanding them to do something, is what I'm hearing. You telling them to do something, and they know that it's to make a decision about a future project or about a commercial, right? And they feel so emotional, like, no, like, not knowing, you know, the bigger, not have, like, they feel so uncomfortable and emotional, you know, knowing that they don't have the same vantage point that you have, I guess. Like, and a lot of these people, they will try, I'm hearing that they have tried to challenge your authority, or they have, you know, you see their lack of urgency as a challenge to authority. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that this is what is the part that they're not taking responsibility for. You know what I'm saying? So some of these people have violated, I'm hearing that these are coworkers that have violated something, because they were so obsessed with some type of mystery about you. Okay, so some of these people, these were coworkers that, you know, where you had strong boundaries in place with them, and they unreasonably searched and seized your possessions, or, you know, they may have, I'm hearing that they might have come into your office when you were not around. They may have been going through your belongings in your office, or going through your belongings in a locker, because they were so obsessed with this aura of mystery that you have, where you put up a lot of boundaries for commercial purposes, is what I'm hearing, for commercial purposes. Some of you guys are the face of a brand and business. Decision makers, or just like not even in their realm of intelligence to be holding a conversation that's not about work, is what I'm hearing. So, you know, this is really offensive, because they see that you don't have anything else to talk about other than work, is what I'm hearing. And they just are very emotional. And it's like you're not emotional at all with them. And it is like you just like their behavior, because they're overwhelmed by emotions with you, they have a tendency to like not take responsibility, not, you know what I'm saying, you know, let their emotions get in the way of them performing at work. They may have gotten out of control and violated, you know, your privacy, invasion of privacy, invasion of your papers, or, you know, house, because they were so obsessed with you being commercial at work, is what I'm hearing. They knew that you were commercial at work, but they knew they weren't getting the whole idea. They know that they weren't getting the whole, you know, they weren't getting the full picture or the full story, okay, something like that. and they became obsessed with you. And it's like something where they just, this was so one-sided. You were like, oh, you're really emotional about me at work, and I'm just here to, you know, get the deliverables or something like that. And you might have just like all these emotions that's stopping you from performing at work. You might have started demanding them, okay, or getting controlling, or you might have done something arrogant and discarded them. Is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that they might have said you're like, oh, you don't need to be in the commercial. I'm hearing something where you're saying that they're not going to be in the commercial, or they're not, you know, because they were too emotional and too violating. They see that this arrogant, like, I'm hearing this arrogant claim that you may have made where you just like, you can't be here or something like that. Okay. Yeah, this just wanted to show itself to me, burdens. Okay. Yeah, these are definitely people in the community, right? It's like they know that you have burdens. They know that you have responsibilities from this commercial, you know, things that you're doing, but they know that you're not telling them everything that's going on behind the commercial, and all they see is you demanding, okay? And it's because you're burdened by all these responsibilities and how they have been too emotionally overwhelmed at work to hold their responsibility. And they just feel like they're getting to a point where, you know, you are not believing in them anymore, and they're really, they're also, I feel like, you know, you might, to put yourself in their shoes, they're really burdened at night. You know, these people are not getting a good night's sleep. They show up to work, they're not doing well at work, they're not performing well at work. They're too busy in a constant preoccupation about you and how you represent the commercial side of the business, and how you represent a decision maker in the business. Some of you, they watched you adapt into this commercial role that you're in, and they know that it meant that you had to keep a lot of things private to protect yourself and to protect your organization. And they just, you know, these people, they show up to work and they can't perform, and they see that you are not showing them how to perform like they're seeing that you're not showing them how to be on a commercial like you are. But I don't think that that's your position. Your position is not to show them how to be on a commercial like you, or to show up, you know, the behind the scenes is not relevant to the commercial, is what I'm hearing. Okay. It's just that they're so emotionally invested in your life behind the scenes because they really want to be your friend, and you're just like, you're a subordinate, you are not my friend, you are just somebody who can't hold the responsibility, and that's burdening me. That's burdening me. Why do I have to keep doing all the work because everyone's around burdened by something that they can't control? Like, we don't care. Do your job. Why are you so having wild emotional mood swings at work? Control yourself. This is why you don't have shit. You get too emotionally overwhelmed and make your decisions based on emotions instead of logic. The truth is, they really cannot function, and all they see is you high functioning, so high functioning that you get to be on a commercial. And they want to see the behind the scenes so that they can try to learn how to get to your level. But they just will never get to your level because for some of you guys, your tenure is so long, your position is not available. For others, they are trying to undermine you, to reject the legitimate authority, to be in a power struggle. And that's why you're so private, right? They have gotten, so I'm hearing some of these coworkers have gotten so out of control that they started searching and seizing, okay, your product, your home, your papers, because they were desperate to find information about your commercial, is what I'm hearing. Desperate to find information about your commercial. How are your coworkers viewing you? Okay, the Ace of Wands, yeah. The Queen of Swords. They see you as very clear, okay? Yeah, the Queen of Cups. This person, I'm hearing that this unhealed feminine energy has been a shadow attachment and has been overwhelming everybody at work, okay? Like, there's been the water element in the moon. This person has been setting a very negative tone that has been emotionally overwhelming people and making people feel unstable at work. Okay, some of these people have there are working mothers, and they might see you as you might not have any children, and you might be in this really high position at work or something like that, and they just see you walking, you are just a goddess walking, and they're just someone who's pregnant, or they're just someone who's a single mother that got knocked up, and they're burdened by single motherhood. Some of them are, they're just not a star at work, right? And they just, they keep throwing out all these different emotional tantrums to reject a legitimate authority. And, some of them, they just feel so, bogged down by motherhood. And, a lot of them are just struggling with postpartum depression and stuff like that. And so, I think that you definitely feel sympathy for them. But some of these people, they just return to work too soon after a pregnancy, and they just cannot function at work because they're so burdened about, this newborn child that they have, or some, children, or some home life issue that they keep projecting on you at work, right? A lot of people do this at work. Stop bringing your home to work. These people do not live, they probably don't live nothing like you, especially if you're a first generation black coming from, violence and chaos. These people are not living the same life as you, friend. They're not at home with some of them might have different forms of family violence, but they're not in this state of perpetual dread the way some of these people are showing up to work, y'all. I don't think y'all understand that a lot of people are showing up to work very emotionally overwhelmed, and you just like, this feels like another woman at work, and you are their leader, and they just keep like, you're starting to like not like them, okay? Not like them, and it's just that they don't have anything to give, right? Because this, like, I don't think, a lot of it is not your personal, it's not really a personal problem with you. Some of you guys, if you are aware of a personal problem that they have, or that this is some kind of scam or con artistry or dodgy business deal, that's another thing. But for some of you guys, these are people that you work with, that you might not have to do, like, you might work with these people, but it is, you might not have like a real rapport with them, is what I mean. And they just, you might not get what you want out of it at work. Like, they are not returning on the deliverables. They're not, they keep, maybe they turn in poor work. You can't use it to make your business decisions. Some of these people are just insubordinates, and they have been, really in a power struggle, okay, for some of them, and but for a part of them, they're really not functioning well at work because of some burdens that they have at home, okay, and if this is someone that had a personal issue with you, and they had violated your home and papers, then this person, we're starting to learn how burdened this person really has been, okay? And I think that a lot of you guys, people are viewing you, coworkers are viewing that you had to adapt around this person who has been harassing you, obsessed with you at work, because they've been so emotionally overwhelmed by you on the commercial, okay? And so this person is really unstable at work, okay, because they just watch your commercials and they don't know how you're doing it, and they just feel so, they're just not functioning with the pregnancy, or a new child, or some other family issue that they may be having at home, or they just simply see you as like a goddess in this commercial, and that they're just not getting, you're not giving them the information that they need to be like you, and it's because your position is not available, okay? That they'll try to use the information to like undermine your authority, or to try to steal your position. And then some of you guys, in this situation, they might see you as, demanding, controlling, right? Or that you're just like, oh my God, I'm so sick and tired of this idiot. Like, some of y'all with this Queen of Cups, it's just like you just are not, into them, and they just, you might have compassion for whatever they're going through at home or whatever their personal issue is. But some of them, if they violated you and violated your Fourth Amendment rights, we know that this is not something that is like, you're very justified in your demands. You're very justified in how you feel. You have the right to be angry. This is not your fault. This person has not been able to control themselves, okay? So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, this person is getting left behind. I'm hearing a coworker, that's getting left behind at work because they cannot perform. I know you, like I said, you might worry about what the severance will do to their home and family. But if you know that they have children, or if you know that they have a newborn, maybe sever them with something to keep them afloat for at least, a year. I'm hearing that the common salary for, especially if they have a big role in the business, like if they are a decision maker as well, or if they're in the commercial side of the business as well, consider giving them a severance for a year of their salary. Just to show your compassion for them. But for some of you guys, they're just not, they're just, if you know that they're a negative force, don't feel bad for leaving them with nothing. For some of them, because some of them did violate you and unreasonably seized your property and left you without things that you needed. So an eye for an eye, pal one. Don't, now that you have the control, you call the shots. And some of you guys are deciding to leave this person in the same grief-stricken environment in reality that they wanted you to be in. And now they're just trying to play the victim for positive feedback, when they're really truly a cold-hearted person that did anything manipulative and calculating to try to burden you in this workplace with extra responsibilities, or to try to, they were so just obsessed that they couldn't stop searching for information about you. And this is just not something that we are receptive to. So, it's not arrogance, it's just you saying no. Okay? And some of them will not be leaving with any severances. For some of them, a lot of them, they're just leaving with a poor investment. And you feel like you invested poorly too, because they did not work out. They were not able to deliver on a standard and promise, and that this was just a shadow attachment with this person, because they may have been on a commercial with you, perhaps, or for others, this person just, came to work for you or something like that, and they took more than they gave, and you ended up having to just, provide for them or something like that. They did not deliver, what you needed to deliver for your commercials and business decisions or something like that. And it's just, this is not your fault. They might see you as controlling and demanding, or think that you were arrogant when your authority was challenged. But this person was truly out of their depth, truly not performing and functioning. And some of this was a negative force to manipulate and undermine your commercial, your security, and your position. Okay, that's what I'm seeing, Power One. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. Hi, Pal 2. Welcome to your selection. So you chose the lipstick and the kiss. So, let's get into it, Pal 2. How do your coworkers view you? How are your coworkers viewing you? Versatility. Okay. Some of them are watching you go from bum bitch to that bitch, like if you know, you know. But these people are watching, how versatile you are. I'm hearing that some of you guys at work, you wear lots of different hats. You have many different roles. Maybe you guys work for a very lean company, or you are doing something to honor diversity, okay, in your organization or at your job. And people are, that's what they're viewing about you, okay? a lot of them, you know, that because you're so versatile, I'm hearing that you get away with so much, friend. I don't know what this is, how you, it's like you kind of can do what you want to do. People let you get away with stuff so much because they know that you are a pure love. You're a pure channel of love is what I'm hearing. And they know every time you show up with a different like you show another something versatile, they know that is like them being represented, and they're like, oh, okay, we know that you're a pure love because of the versatility that you show. That's so cute, y'all. Sometimes you might say something that's not politically correct, or you'll say something problematic or controversial, or you'll talk your shit or pop your shit or something like that, but then you'll show up doing something versatile, and they'll be like, okay, well, that's me still. They'll be like, okay, I'm okay with you acting crazy because I know that I'm still representing where you are. That's so cute. That's so cute. Like, they'll be like, okay, you might have been buck wild with some kind of racist comment that you said, but then you showed up with tacos the next day. LOL. Okay. So yeah, let's see. What is how are your coworkers viewing you? How to? We have addict. Okay. So some of you guys work in a recovery center or a trauma center. Maybe you work in a behavioral health hospital. You may work with addicts. Okay, these are people who have a known that you might know about their drug addictions. You work with people who are damaged. Okay. So they might also see you as damaged too. They know that some of you guys are recovering addicts as well, and so they see that like some of you guys, you could have this party aesthetic, but you also have this like you know not to let the addiction of partying, okay, be like stop you from getting your work done. I'm hearing that you're fun to be around. Like, you're really fun to be around, but you don't let it stop you from getting work done. At work, I'm getting that you are helping people. You're really you have a really strong team building effort. Okay, you have a really strong team building effort. You are a big inspiration to a lot of people. You motivate people to have a conviction. I'm hearing you motivate people to stay true to their spiritual convictions and their commitments, okay? And you help them resist temptations. I don't know what you're doing. This could be literally, you guys could work like, yeah, what did I say? Split the deck. You can work in behavioral health. You can work with people who have karmic challenges. Maybe you are doing something spiritual, but this could also be something related to healthcare and medicine, okay? Maybe you work in prison reform. Okay, some of you guys could work in prison. You could be a prison guard. You can work in security. You can work in law enforcement. Is what I'm hearing. You can work in law enforcement. Or maybe you're working in something that requires that displays your talents. How are your coworkers viewing you, pal? Too. We have black magic. We have children. Some of you guys might work with children. Okay, we have Leo. And then we have LGBTQAI. Yeah, you guys, like I was getting, some of you guys, you work in diversity, equity, and inclusion. You might be celebrating, you're making the Pride community welcomed. You're protecting children. But you know how your coworkers are viewing you, they're viewing you as well established at work. It's like you have an immovable position and you're not going anywhere. So like if people have a problem with your organization, or they have a problem with what how with how they are viewing you at work, then it doesn't matter because they can't do anything about it. Some of you guys, people have seen that because of this versatility, you've actually faced some unexpected scrutiny. Maybe this is even just like, if this isn't about sexuality or drug addictions, behavioral health issues, these could be like, this could be something else that's scrutinized or something that's taboo, something, where it could be like, it could explore controversial subjects. It could be about religion as well, okay? And people see that, like, if you've lost support for something, I'm hearing something where you taking this stance has actually put you in some unexpected, like, put you under some unexpected scrutiny. But I think that how you really truly win hearts and minds is that you focus on children before they grow up to be a shitty adult. Like the rest of these addicts that are watching you on your social media account. I think that you let people know that this is to protect children from addictions, okay? To protect children from addicts, or to protect children from these things that we wish we would have protection against, right? Especially a lot of you guys, where in this workplace you might be working in something very serious and stressful, like prisons, health care systems, some of the shadowiest realms, okay? Something that may involve things that are not acceptable in society or are considered negative causes in society, okay? And they see that, like, this is something where you are fighting for representation, and that's going to bring about a righteousness on behalf of yourself from your past troubles and addictions, and protect future generations as well, okay? And people are really into that. People are really into that. People love that this is for, to protect children, okay? Because some of you guys, I think that you really have, how they're viewing you is that they really see that you have been focused on, childhood wounds and opening up a pathway to learning and forgiveness, okay? Especially with people who have had these sexuality issues, or they have had some type of developmental trauma in their childhood, or you just know that they're not established and confident because they're just these wounded children, okay? So, how are your coworkers viewing you, pal, too? Okay, all is fair at work, friend. Okay, all is fair. You are the judge is what I'm hearing, okay? People see that at work you are attracting everything that's good. That's what I'm hearing. You are in a leadership position, and I think that that's the balance. This has balanced the scales of justice. Is that people who were fighting for power to be empowered in your role or something like that, they were never well versed enough to handle these stressful and serious problems at work that may be related to children and sexuality and addiction, right? I think that you have promoted a lot of openness to learning and forgiveness in a situation at work. People know not to, I think that all the conflicts at work and things like that have just been people saying and doing things that they really did not mean, or they were just, some people come to work and they just, especially with the black magic card coming out, some of these people, they lost their position of authority because they were just projecting an image that served them. They saw that you had this leadership position that protected children and that focused and promoted diversity, equity, and inclusion, and even maybe talked about some things that are typically frowned upon at work, like sexuality, and made work a safe space. especially if you guys are here from Power One, some people just come to work and they're so burdened about what they have going on outside of work that they don't do well in the work environment. And they see that your purpose is to set people up for success. And so you have been empowered the leadership role, and anybody that have been fighting or conflicting at work, you are viewing them with fairness, justice, and compassion, because you know that a lot of them are addicts, people struggling with sexuality issues, wounded children that have never matured, not in their maturation states, people who are in scarcity traumas, people who do not have a power over their inner spirit. Okay, people who are not confident and enthusiastic, and you're just like, well, that's why you're here, friend, to take care of those people. Okay, and they see that you are doing that. So the conflict is really, you're not their enemy, you're their hero. This is a lot of compassion that you're bringing into this work environment, and people are compassionate, and you are distributing the power in a fair way, right? You call the shots because you were the one that had the method to represent all of the different challenges that were happening at work, is what I'm hearing. These people at work, they view you as, focusing on representation, laughing about, biases, laughing at hypocrisy and absurdities, laughing about, bringing humor into it and laughing at your traumatic experiences, not taking yourself so seriously, letting laughter heal the deepest of sorrows and wounds, but also still being strict and helping people, stick to their spiritual convictions and commitments, and they see that you have been the one that was you were the perfect fit for this position, is what I'm hearing. Something where you were the perfect fit to represent. I'm hearing this is why you're on the main line. I'm hearing this is why you're on the main line. You were the perfect fit for this position, or you were the perfect fit to handle this challenge, of diversity, and how different conflicts can arise around that, and balance the distribution of power, and have learned so many lessons as well. Okay, so anybody, there's no fight. Okay, just a reflection. Okay, so let's wrap part 2. How are your coworkers viewing you? These are people who they might see you as a senior. You might be senior status at work. You're just older than them. You have a lot more experience handling these type of conflicts in conflicts of versatility. Okay. We have the Ace of Wands. That's crazy because it came out in Power 1 as well. Okay, the Four of Pentacles reversed, and the Four of Cups. Okay. People, they see you as, this is a situation where there's a lot of healing that needs to be done, okay? Because the differences have bruised a lot of people's ego. And I'm getting that there's been a lot of sharp communication to free us from a delusional person, okay? Someone who is just projecting an image at work, okay? The King of Pentacles in the reverse. This could be a boss, a masculine energy, but this has been someone who has been, like I said, they have been doing the black magic. So, a lot of these people at work, they see that this could be someone that was in a position of leadership as well, or you were someone that challenged a position of leadership. But I feel like, this, you might want to be a place where, diversity is celebrated and honored, and versatility is celebrated and honored, and people can tell that you are, you're pure love, right? By how you show up versatile, and it reflects, if you represent a different aspect of the shared consciousness. But, these are relationships that need coworkers where the relationship needs healing, because you have been growing bored and apathetic towards their lack. They see you as very emotionally stagnant around them. It's like something where this may have started with the best intentions, but because, you know, people show so much emotional weakness and insecurity around the differences at work, people really internalize this around their sexuality, and it really have like hurt these people's self-confidence, right? And they have been, you know, they haven't really been reaching the intended targets at work, because they have been, it's just like you just haven't, I don't know, this could be, a lot could be going on here. I don't know what's going on with the King of Pentacles and the Ace of Wands. This is somebody where they need to heal. This is someone that needs to heal. This feels like a masculine at work, but it could also, it really feels like a man, okay? But it could be more than one person. I feel like people, how they're viewing you is that you're not happy at work anymore. They feel like you have been bored and apathetic, and you haven't, it's like these people still lack the lack what they need to reach the intended target of diversity, equity, and inclusion, of celebrating this versatility. And a lot of this is people need to, like, I don't know, this was like some type of karmic challenge or addictive pattern of behavior with people who have sexuality issues. Like, it is, it means that we have to be open and honest about things, I think. And a lot of people are still, even in this day and age, are still not open and honest about their addictions and their sexuality. Okay, that's shameful, painful aspects. Okay, and I think that you've had the best intentions in this DEI, but I think that by the end, people were too emotionally weak and insecure to fulfill this, I don't know, something where they were too emotionally weak and insecure to, and may have just settled for doing something conventional or conservative because they were too scared about how the representation of the diversity representation would make certain people feel about their sexuality and about their, you know, about their body image, and they felt like it would hurt their self-confidence because they knew that it would mean that you would be the center of attention. Okay, and you know, they feel like you are bored with their inability to handle this situation properly. Okay, I think that after they failed to, I'm hearing that this coworker, after they failed, I think that it was really that they needed to heal something personal and be and to be fueled with information on how to handle a diversity challenge in your organization or in your workplace. This, and they see that now you're just like, you don't even want it anymore, you don't care, or that because of all the stagnating or delaying, you went down a different path and found justice on a different path. Okay, I'm getting that something happened at work where this person was an addict, or they were in the closet about something, and they were struggling to represent fully because they didn't want people, they hid who they truly were. They did not want people to see this, you know, this thing that they consider to be an addiction. Like, some of them, they consider this, you know, sexuality that's trapped in the closet to be their shadow addiction of pain and shame that they can't, you know, that they truly indulge in, that doesn't match their religious dogma, that doesn't match, you know, their ideal image of themselves at work. And so, you know, I'm hearing that you've been doing a lot to help people have a spiritual conviction, to have a commitment to their projects and remember why they started, and to remember that, you know, it's just like their really poor self-image is the reason why they cannot reach the fully intended target. They, you know, representing fully would take the attention off of someone else is what I'm hearing, but I'm getting that it is actually it's happening for you anyway. It's like they may have done something to stagnate, and they see that you went around that, and that you will be the center of attention anyway, is what I'm hearing. They I'm also getting that some of them, they may have waited too long and you grew bored with them, and so it doesn't even matter because you don't want to be represented with them anyway, is what I'm hearing. These could be people who had organ inferiority complex, and they knew that like people would know about this, or that people would wonder about your sex life or something like that. This could be a partner that a romantic partner that you were working with. But this could also be just like it would shed light on a shadow aspect of people who are inferior, okay, who have inferior organs, but something that you did to where they might have dominated a space. You may have done something to find, like, to represent despite them not cooperating, is what I'm hearing. You found a way to represent despite them not cooperating, and brought fairness, okay? I think you are moving on to calmer waters, but I think that the issue here is that, like, you know, it's beautiful to, like, want diversity and to celebrate differences and to represent the full spectrum of the universe. But in the reality of the matter, a lot of people will be emotionally weak and insecure because they will make a lot of internalizations about you being the center of attention, or about, you know, some type of representation that would dismantle something false, okay, or something conservative and conventional, something boring, truthfully. Okay, friends, that's what I'm saying, pal 2. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see you on the next one. Hi, pal 3. Last but not least, you chose this light pink flower. So let's get into how your coworkers are viewing you. How are your coworkers viewing you, pal 3? I'm hearing when the queen leave, bitches want to come out like a cockroach until I'm cooking in the kitchen like a pot roast. The new Spectre. We don't feel pot hoes. Dorito bitches mad because they nachos. Doritos bitches are mad because they're nachos. Okay? LOL. We have resilience. Okay? Those Doritos definitely mad as fuck. But I'm hearing there's something where, you know, somebody, I'm hearing that they wanted you to be, these are people who fought you at work, and some of y'all had to bounce back from a challenge, and they see that you were resilient, and the way that you bounced back was so, I'm hearing the bounce back and the comeback was so, can't hit so much harder than the setback, friends. The comeback is epic. The comeback is notoriety. The comeback is a big shit in a lot of people's face. I'm hearing that your bounce back has gotten you chosen. I'm hearing I'm hearing they all chose you. And they say, I'm hearing these Dorito bitches is mad because they not chose. Especially if you at the club, yeah, them Doritos real mad. Okay? Them, you big mad because they ain't chose. Okay? They know that you was getting chose at work. Because people having wild thoughts about you, which means they not having wild thoughts about you, friend. Okay, that means they're not having wild thoughts about you. Okay, someone name is Rocky, or this person name is Richard. And then we had a karmic loop. So I'm hearing that there was a karmic loop with an ex-partner. Okay, at work. I don't know, something happened. I don't know what kind of workplace you work in, but there was a situation perhaps where this you know, this person went back to their ex, or they went back to their previous situation, even though they were like obsessed with you. Okay, that's like a weird karmic challenge, y'all. I think that's so strange that some of you guys, these people see that you're on break from work. You're on break from work. This may have been a workplace romance, but this was a karmic loop. Okay, I'm hearing that you keep having a karmic challenge at work. Anytime you get romantically, I'm not gonna say anytime, but this might be a running thing for some of y'all. That some of you guys, if you get involved romantically at work, you almost always have this challenge. Okay, I don't know why, but I kind of have been getting to the bottom of it. Especially some of you guys, what this triggers within your partners, if you are getting into a, like, you have this, you project this desire for a power couple, or you project the one, okay, on someone at work. This also triggers them. This person, I'm hearing that this is a karmic loop of an ex. You come around and they are given an opportunity of true love. Some of these people are giving you represent an opportunity for true love, and their ex is the test. Okay, is the karmic challenge that they're being asked to evolve beyond. Anytime this person gets triggered about an investment, or they get triggered by replacing that person that they thought was the one, or this person that was previously, their source of empowerment, then this, like, if they feel any kind of scrutiny or experience any seeds of doubt with you, they will immediately have a pessimistic swing and go back to their old situation where they were established previously. Does that make sense? Like, it is a situation where they're triggered by feelings of past investment, thinking about investing with you and becoming a power couple with you, thinking about having this perfect life with you triggers a disappointment from their ex, where that did not that they had this wish before and it did not fulfill. Okay. I mean, wow. Okay, some of y'all work with Rihanna. Maybe you work with Savage Time, Fenty, or whatever it is. Some of you guys, people are watching you with PR with Rihanna. Okay. But I'm also hearing that this is a karmic challenge, third party situation. Some of you guys, where there was a third party at work, or there was a ex, where someone went back to their ex. Okay. And these, I'm hearing that maybe it's not even the third party at work that won or something like that. It's the ex that they went back to. It's like maybe they were experiencing a third party challenge at work that wasn't romantic, or something where they heard some negative news about you, slander about you at work or something like that, or got some kind of misperception at work, and this was the third party trigger that made them go back to what was previously established. Okay. This might be a pattern that some of you guys are discerning. Okay. Workplace romances can happen like this a lot. Okay, it's what I've been seeing in the collective. We have explore. Some of you guys, you do a lot of business travel for work. Okay, a lot of flights. They're seeing you in a business select class or something like that. They're seeing you move around a lot for work. And I'm getting that some people here at work, especially if these were third parties at work, they were mad because they were not chosen. Okay. That's what I was previously saying as well. These people were mad because they were not chosen at work, and that they know that the reason why you were chosen is because people have wow thoughts about you. Okay. Some of you guys, you might be dealing with a Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces at work, and that is, I'm hearing that these are important. These could be important signs for you at work. People that you need to watch out for. But ultimately, what I see is that, like, people at work, they see that after you bounce back after some type of challenge. Okay, and it was like you didn't see it as like this big challenge that you saw it as an opportunity to explore, to travel, to do something else, to be free. And a lot of them have seen that you have returned to work. A lot of them. Okay. Because I keep hearing you're back. I'm hearing people are just like, I'm hearing your coworkers are low-key excited that you're back at work. Okay. I'm hearing back to teach them or something like that. Back to teach them. Okay. So yeah, how are your coworkers viewing you? I know I was missing one card. How are your coworkers viewing you? Pile 2. The magical child archetype in the reverse. Some of you guys are here from pile 1. But I feel like, some of these people at work, you are still, they consider you to be a child at work. They consider you very young at work. They see that you haven't been happy at work. And, some of them, they see that you are that you are, okay, this could be one or two things. You could be the one that's pessimistic and not doing things to grow, but you could be highlighting and mirroring this, okay, reflecting this back to people who have not been taking action to grow. They have been in a karmic loop. They keep doing the same things over and over again. And some of these people, they just will not get up and restructure their life so that they can have a better life, okay? And they just see that you have been dealing with a setback or dealing with some big challenge that they probably could never even imagine facing, and that you've bounced back in the time frame that they have been pessimistic, disbelieving in miracles, not taking, not taking the energy that they need, not taking the inspired actions that they need to grow. And this is a huge reflection, okay? Because they can't believe you bounced back from this challenge, and they're still sitting there trying to figure out how to get out of a financial contract with their ex, or they're sitting there still not producing anything. You're like, okay, I'm gonna leave this workplace and I'm just gonna go somewhere else because I'm bored here. Okay. LOL. Your coworkers have a crush on you. Okay, I think that some of your coworkers have a crush on you. Some of your coworkers get turned on by you. I'm hearing that these could be people that you don't even think about. And they are deep. They think about you deeply, daily. Okay, I'm hearing that they're in deep thoughts about you. And some of them, if they're not into you like that, they could just be really concerned about how you were chose. I'm hearing you were chose. Maybe you were chose at work. To have a romantic partnership and work. They were mad because they weren't chose. They're not chose. And that was just even more of a slap in the face, honestly. So let's get the tarot when we got friends, okay? Yeah, I'm hearing very unhappy at work. These are not fulfilling relationships, but some of you just recently got a promotion, or you just recently hit a big milestone. I'm hearing that these are working relationships with someone white, and I'm getting that these relationships, I feel like you've hit milestones around them, but you guys have not had. You need to explore more to have emotional fulfillment in these relationships, because you guys have differences in values and lifestyles. You guys have to approach these relationships with a bigger open mind. Someone's name here is Greg or starts with letter G. Somebody, you really have hit a major milestone. I'm hearing you are in this work environment. Your 10 of Pentacles is secure. Okay, you do have domestic bliss with these people, but they have had a karmic challenge. They have been making the relationships unfulfilling, and I think that you're starting to get pessimistic, or you're not believing in them. I think that a lot of this is just you're starting to just render them as domestic bliss, and that's it. Just work for money, and that's it. Okay, but I think the milestone and the achievement is that you guys have really resolved a conflict peacefully. Okay, maybe you didn't think that this could happen. Maybe you didn't think that you could manifest this. Okay, something like that. Your resilience. I'm hearing that the way that you bounce back from something has secured yourself. It's like you can't do anything to get canceled, or they know that you are where the bag lies, is what I'm hearing. So So let me see here. Okay, 10 of Cups. Okay, don't worry. It's not. This is not a matter of you not having your bag secured. The bag is very secured. Especially, you know, I definitely see that the conflict has resolved peacefully, and that makes the bag secure. Okay. But tell me about this 10 of Cups reversed. Emotional balance at work and 6 of Cups. I mean, it seems, you know, it seems good, right? It seems fine. Everything seems fine. But I think that these could just be, what is stopping the fulfillment is that, you know, these relationships, while you have fond memories with them and things like that, these are not, I don't think that they're aligned relationships. Okay. I don't think that that is hurting your domestic bliss, but I don't think that they represent unconditional love. I think that that you are not into them. Okay, I think that you, especially I'm hearing some people who have a different cultural group. It's like you guys have memories and domestic bliss with one another and fun times, but I think that because of a conflict or something like that, like I don't know what this could be with the 10 of Cups. It just feels like you need more information to find the emotional fulfillment. Okay, but I think that this is a huge milestone in resolving the conflict peacefully, and I think that there are more cycles of aligning with, you know, the right choices, or for some of you guys, you're just coming into balance, that these relationships are not unconditionally loving, that they're just business relationships, but they will offer you your domestic bliss and financial security. Okay. It's like you definitely have, I don't know, what does that mean, Fran? Because it seems, you know, it seems fine, but it might feel like something is missing. Okay. You know, where they come around for a lot of partying, or you just feel like they don't give as much as you give or something like that. Okay. I'm hearing that something happened at work where your resilience, this is like a miracle milestone. Okay. Where you may have been wandering for a while, or you may have explored for a while, or you may not have thought that this possibility could have been real, but this is an ending of where you're becoming rich, is what I'm hearing. Some of you guys, you are becoming rich, because not because these relationships are romantic and have unconditional love, but because it is an activation of self-love that inspires you to resolve a scam, it's an activation of self-love to inspire you to resolve, you know, people who owe you money, is what I'm hearing. And that is happening, right? You know, this is a miracle that this align, that I'm not going to say align, but that you were able, I'm getting a little tired, but I think what happens in this situation is that you get a self-love activation and you get domestic bliss, but these relationships are not fulfilling after having a conflict, is what I'm hearing. I feel like, I know that sounds like, damn, not a relationship is not fulfilling. It's either that, you know, the relationship is no longer fulfilling, or that you need to go explore to experience a activation of self-love that will complete this 10 of Cups, right? Because right now it's the 9 of Cups, is what I'm hearing. Emotional satisfaction, probably. You know, a lot of you guys, you are emotionally satisfied, but the self-love activation is what puts you into alignment and makes these working relationships aligned. Okay. But but at least the bag is secured. I think that that's the milestone, is that there's no longer competition for your money, and that these people are just like, you know, that they'll still, I don't know, it just feels like these were relationships that are just for money. Okay. So don't be expecting anything else, and I think that that is okay. I think they, you know, how people are, you know, how your coworkers are viewing you, Sorry if that took me a long time, but it just feels like how your coworkers are viewing you. They're viewing you as having a domestic bliss that is secured and prosperity that is secured. That you're emotionally balanced and have resolved a lot of these conflicts at work. It's just that now you just are you just like you're just in it for the money is what I'm hearing. But it's not a bad in it for the money. It's not the shadow aspects, because the Ten of Pentacles is upright. It does mean that you resolve the conflict and that you've maintained your security, meaning that they won't try to inhibit. I don't know if that means that they won't inhibit the payment, but I think that your actions of finding like you staying action oriented and focusing on your SMART goals secures the bag. It's not that they aligned their choice, because a lot of them, the reason why these relationships are unfulfilling is because they did not align their choice. It was something that you had to adjust and adapt. Okay, maybe you know, because they didn't cooperate, or they, for some of them, they tried to scam you at first, or they tried to not give back to you. They tried to take creative inspiration, or you know, they tried to take your work from a project and then not give you credit for it or something like that. And some of you guys got really pessimistic after this because you found it to be really disrespectful. But I think that something happened recently where you got an activation of self-love, and it helped resolve a conflict and helped you, you know, reach a milestone around these, you know, of resolving a financial dispute at work, perhaps. And I think that that is what secured your bag, not that they were actually aligned with unconditional love. A lot of these people, especially, like, they have, these are third parties at work, and these are people who where it doesn't, like, these third parties are people where they, like, I don't know, where they align with something bitter and resentful at work, or they go back to their ex, or they go back to their previous establishment, and they make you like, you are the one that has to resolve a imbalance, because they keep empowering the karmic is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing they keep, you know, investing poorly into, it's like something where they invested poorly elsewhere, and this took away from them aligning. Okay, they may have missed an opportunity, or they made their poor investment with something karmic stop them from having emotional fulfillment. But then I'm hearing that you backed them into a corner, or they played themselves, and you secured your bag anyway. It doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying, friends. About how your coworkers are viewing you. They see that you bounce back from something where they tried to scam you off. I'm hearing something where your money and your domestic bliss, that somebody tried to take it, or they tried not to compensate you for your work or give you credit for your work, but you just saw it as an opportunity to love yourself deeper, and put them in a position where they were, you know, they have to, right? So I don't think that you're happy with them, but you will get your money from them. Okay, thank you so much, Pal 3. Let me know how that resonates, and I'll see y'all in the next one.